And we are live.
And we are live. Wait. But I'm able to also log in here, but I need to. Not really.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. It's all good.
I don't think so.
Kelly's YouTube channel live. We're live.
This is the weird thing about doing lives.
So
We're
we
just
just
kind
wait
of
for people
lurking, just sitting there like creeps. I haven't done this in so long.
It has been a while. I wish we had done more in recent years and everything, but it's all well and good.
I think we used to do it a lot in Chimani.
The lives, yeah. Well, I guess that was like COVID time, so there was a lot to talk about then and everything.
A lot to talk about now.
There's a lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about all the time. I'm really trying to figure out this thing.
Figure it out as we
I
go
feel like
along.
such a boomer.
Hi everybody.
Is this thing on?
To the
Can
three
you guys
people.
hear us
Yeah, actually, that's a good starting point.
and see us?
Sign of proof of life. If anyone is out there, say hi, say something, so we know that we're not talking to bots.
True story.
Yeah.
Hey, Sam. Hi.
Hi, Sam.
Can hear it. Fantastic. Okay. Hi, Gumi. How are you? These are like my day ones.
These are your people.
Gumi, I know from like way back. From way back. Hi, welcome.
Now, okay, it's everybody who you're gonna say hi to the day one.
I'm gonna say hi to everybody.
Every single person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, I think you've got to do that. You got to do that.
Cool.
Okay. So 7 people on. This is fun times. We're about to do what we're about to do.
Disclaimers, guys. If you see us disappearing suddenly, it means it's someone's child.
Yeah, the kids.
Has started to scream or unrelated, but like my kids have been getting sick a lot with this flu, and it's been really, really annoying.
This flu that
been
people
so tiring that I'm convinced is COVID.
I don't know. Do you guys think it's COVID? What do you guys think? Because I personally think as well.
Always, yeah.
Everyone's in
so
denial,
annoying.
but it probably is COVID, a strain that we can't really figure out, but it's there. Oh, someone said it was avian flu. So, what's it called?
A bird flu.
Bird flu.
Yeah,
Someone said that
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
I
don't know. How are you guys doing? Actually, tell us where you're watching from. Which corner of the internet are you living in? Which part of the world? Where are you guys? I wish I could see who.
No, you can't. People are hiding. You know, some people just want to watch quietly from the terraces, not comment, not say anything.
Is it my issue? Like, I haven't done this in so many years.
And
YouTube has obviously changed so much that I'm just feeling, yeah, like what is going on? Anyway, so we're gonna give it 1.5 more minutes, and then we're gonna get into the topic. I'd also posted on Instagram to ask people if they have any specific questions. So we have an idea of what we wanted to talk about today. But if you have any specific questions or whatever, I think my sticker should still be up on my Instagram page. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please follow me and just throw your questions there if you want to remain anonymous. But if you want to throw questions in the comment section, the comment section,
that's the place.
Yeah, in the chat, just throw them over there, and then we'll take it from there.
What's up, Booby Carol from Joburg?
Hi, welcome. I heard Joburg is freezing. In Zim we always complain, but I know it just must another level.
I feel like Joburg is like the benchmark for cold in Southern Africa. Honestly, there's that. When they talk about that Joburg cold that goes into the bones, I felt it was. How things go.
It's not fun.
No,
it's not fun. Imagine my shock. So I went to the University of Pretoria and I did my first winter in South Africa, and I was not ready. I don't know why I thought I was. I was like, yeah, grab a couple of hoodies, whatever. I think midwinter, my sister had to call me and be like, my friend, you're not going to make it. You're not going to survive. Go and buy an electric blanket, a hot water bottle, like proper jerseys, like, yeah. And then like,
Gladys,
hey, you see, you're
this
coming
is
in from
Vijay
Canada,
Wani.
so immediately as Africans, we cannot complain about the cold because Canada has entered the chat. I can,
Canada in the building.
yeah, I can't
Gladys
even
from
imagine.
SA. Hi, Gladys.
Hi
How's it
guys.
going?
Awesome, awesome. Welcome everybody to our live from all over Zim, Joburg, SA, Canada. Welcome guys. We're so excited to do this for the first time in so long.
Yeah, we must do this
It's
more.
been a
But
while.
but this is a good
It's been
start.
a while, but I find sometimes I get nervous to do lives because sometimes I ramble on and on and on and on. And then I can't exactly be like, oh, pause, edit that bit out. I have to just like keep going. So extremely rusty from doing this, but anyway, hopefully we'll have a really fruitful discussion. Hi from Afghanistan. Oh wow.
Wow.
Hello. Welcome. I don't even know what time of the day it is
I've
over
got a
there.
lot of
I know
questions.
very little.
What is happening in Afghanistan? How are you
I know
doing? Are
very
you
little
safe?
about it.
Are you well? Yeah, yeah, we read a lot about Afghanistan in the news, but yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, we're gonna get into today's topic. So if you guys have even watched 3 of our videos in the history of everything we've done, you know we are extremely, extremely, extremely passionate about marriage, passionate about relationships, dating for marriage specifically. It's the streets. The streets are just it's it's a whole other level. It's a whole other level. But we basically wanted to just take some time to chat and talk about some things that are seemingly obvious, but are actually not. Like people go through a lot of different situations, right? But the principles should remain the same. I think
Yeah.
that because I mean, a question I get a lot is, oh, how do you know someone is the one? How do you know, all these kind of things that they're the right person for you? I think it's important to establish like the basics and the minimum that you should be looking for when looking for a life partner. And also, I mean, even just the whole dating sphere. People date for different reasons. Not everybody's dating for marriage. Others are dating for fun, others are dating to keep it casual, others are dating for company, but nothing long term. So we basically want to unpack all that stuff. So we didn't have like a super structured anything prepared. We just thought we'd kind of let the conversation flow. Touch on a couple of questions from Instagram, and then if you guys have anything to contribute on the chat, we're gonna work with that. But we're just gonna keep it very light, very casual. Yeah, I think that's a good start.
Yeah.
So maybe to start us off, I'll start off with a question that I got on Instagram earlier. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I haven't seen these questions, so I'm hoping
Hasn't.
that I want to freestyle and just talk from the heart.
Okay.
Because I know that. Yeah. Okay. Go.
You see, this is why we can't go live because you
Live is
rambled.
awesome.
Now I
Yes,
can't edit that out.
yes,
Now we're just all gonna sit here
Now you guys are
and
gonna see.
experience what it's like filming a video with Chunks. Anyway, okay, so number one, what are the important questions we need to be asking while dating? Right. I think that one is so important because I think, and unfortunately, people get shade for asking this question. But I feel the what are we question is so important. People always clown girls who are like, what are we? What are we doing? But it's a good question. You need clarity. What are you doing? Are you dating casually? Is it something serious? I mean, don't ever let people shame you for asking such a critical question. I don't think it's needy or desperate for you to want to know where you stand in someone's life.
Yeah.
So we can find then debate about the timing of which you can ask questions like this. But I think it's very important to establish what it is you're doing. Are you in a relationship? Are you guys keeping each other company? Is it a winter warmer situation that is short term? That kind of stuff. So important questions. What are we? I would say, what are you looking for? Because we're looking for different things. So someone can say, oh, no, I'm looking to date. Okay. And in that dating, are you dating because you're looking for a life partner? Are you dating for marriage? Or are you dating to pass the time? You're not ready for marriage. You're not looking for anything too serious. But, those are important questions.
Do you have any baggage?
Baggage. I think also when you're dating, that's the time to like do like ask extensive questions about someone's background. So we talk about it a lot in premarital counseling, but what is someone's background? Like, okay, who do you live with? Basic questions. And if someone says my relatives, please ensure those relatives are not a wife and kids, because people have done that. Where it's like, oh yeah, no, I stay with family. No, 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 I stay with my family, my wife and children.
The people the women I'm married to. Plus,
Who do you stay with? Where do you stay? Where did you go to school? Where did you grow up? Um, all like it sounds like it's being intrusive, but these are genuinely very serious things that we take for granted. Oh, what is your situation growing up? Were you raised by both your mom and your dad? Were you raised by your grandmother? Were you raised by, I don't know, your uncles? What is your home situation? Who are you taking care of? What is your position in the family? Are you a firstborn? Are you a lastborn? Are you a middle child? It sounds like these questions, some people may find it intrusive, but I think if you're seriously dating to work towards marriage, questions like this shouldn't be out of bounds.
Yeah.
So, just to establish it quickly, everything that we're going to talk about is going to be based on dating for marriage specifically. So I don't condone situationships. I don't condone just seeing how things go, entanglements,
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it.
yeah.
I'm talking because I'm not going to advise on that because I don't have experience in that. Like, and even if I had experience in it, I don't think it's something that we should be promoting and putting out into the world. As you guys know, we are both Christians, so we're going to go ahead and just lay the foundation of what we believe. Okay,
Yeah.
right off the bat. So
Just quickly in the
we've got a question there. Okay.
Or we can come back to the question.
Oh, hey America, hey America, we see you
from America. And Kumbi Nerutendo is in the building.
What's your relationship like with mom or dad? Do you mean my relationship with his parents? Okay, actually, obviously, because my parents aren't there. But my relationship with them, I like to think our relationship is good. Our relationship is beautiful.
What else can you say, Olamia?
What else am I gonna? But honestly, I think one policy that I decided on when I got married is I'm going to be myself. If people are going to love me, let them love the real me. If they're going to hate my guts, let them hate the real me. So I am a clown. I will always make smart comments. I always make jokes. I'm like always half serious. The way I am is the way I am with his parents. So I kind of figured, you know what? Either you're going to learn to love me the way I am or you're going to hate me. But if you're going to love or hate me, hate the real me. So, yeah. Rose, sorry, did we misinterpret your question? I meant questions to ask during dating. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Circle back. Yes, what's your relationship like with your mom and your dad? That one is actually such a key question.
But no, hang on. But at what stage do you ask a question like that? Because that's quite deep. I mean, I guess, that's other kind of follow-up question to what we're saying now, because these are the questions that you ask as you're dating someone, isn't it? So at what stage do you ask a question like that? What's your relationship like with your parents? That's quite loaded, because you're going into the background, but like it's like if someone has a very tumultuous relationship with their
parents.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a first date question. I would say maybe it's like a third or fourth date question.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think it's an important thing because it uncovers a lot, because it's another thing that sometimes causes issues. So let's say he's a big family person, raised by two parents, he's just big on his family. And I was abandoned by both of my parents and I was raised by an uncle or an aunt, for example. I'm not going to value family the same way he will. Like, I'm not saying I'm not going to value family, but I'll see the importance of a parental relationship differently than he would because he had it, whereas I didn't. So, yeah, but I think it's not an easy question, but it must be asked because you want to know background. So even polygamy is a huge one for either parents or grandparents. Did your grandfather have 11 wives? Those are very critical things to know because it means if someone in their family had polygamous relationships or that's normalized in their family, I mean, look into your future. When someone is bringing a third or fourth wife or a second wife or whatever, or, into your relationship, that's something that's completely normal to them. Whereas perhaps to someone else, it's out of the box. So, yeah, what other questions to ask during dating?
What questions to ask you?
Your religion. So I think it also depends. So this is unfortunately going to be an answer nobody likes, but it depends on the person and how you're vibing with them. I think it's also about the kind of connection that you have. I think sometimes when you meet the right person, certain questions won't feel too deep.
Right.
It'll just feel very normal.
So fair.
Yeah, so on
Valid point.
our first date, official date, like I was like, okay, this is nonsense. You can't take me to your friend's house to go drinking. That's not a date. Like, take me somewhere. When he took me out for dinner, the whole way there, he was trauma dumping about his ex. Trauma dumping about how badly his past relationships went. So on from the outside, that's like, oh, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
And it was a lot.
Very early on.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
But reading deeper into that, what he was saying was he was clearly stating the things that he didn't want to experience. Because he made it clear right off the bat, I want a relationship. I see you being my girlfriend. I'm like, whoa, sir, I don't even know you. Just first of all, calm down. And it was creepy at the time. But looking back, it was good that you were focused and you knew what you wanted. I was
making my intentions clear, I guess, very early on.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Look, I wouldn't advise it for
maybe not
guys.
First date. Maybe not first date, but I think
you gotta gauge, because it could have gone south, and you could have she could have totally been like, okay, you know what, back up.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
There's a few questions, follow up.
Oh, here's another one.
When do you bring in
questions around money? So you see, money.
What aspect of money, maybe?
I think anything money related.
Like, how do you?
Money is so sensitive. It's something that you really have to soft launch into. It's not a question that's rushed, because the problem with money is people attach so much of their stuff. By stuff, I mean like their mental, emotional, and whatever worth to money. So people have different money attitudes as well. So, like I'm saying, you could really open a can of worms, and people's insecurities know that are woven into money. So, I'd say, first things first, what do you do? I think that's a good opening point. What do you do? What you're trying to find out, are you a productive member of society? Are you hustling? Are you a rapper? What are you doing? And there's nothing wrong with being a rapper. Is a rapper what you're looking for? Because in all these questions, you're trying to find is someone aligned with what you want. If you want to marry someone in corporate, if someone says I'm a rapper, you can already see this is not quite, I'm not saying count them out, but just make a mental note of, okay, this person is a rapper, not quite what I'm looking for, but let's explore further, kind of thing. I think as you get more and more serious, once you're now talking about things like, okay, marriage, so this is before someone is proposed, before even wrote a date, talks, what, you guys have had a conversation to say, look, I think I want to see where this goes. I believe you could be someone I want to marry. Let's talk finances. What do you do? What is your financial situation? Okay, cool. You've got a full-time job. Who are you supporting?
Yeah.
Are you supporting anyone? Where do you live? Are you paying rent? And then a lot of things about money you will learn from observation. So you'll see how someone
says something, but behavior.
How do they behave when they have money? How do they behave when they don't have money? Yeah. What is their attitude? Are there any power dynamics when it comes into money? Money, unfortunately, it's very difficult for you to openly ask unless you're now at the stage where it's like, okay, look, now we're getting married. Usually, premarital counseling is where we do it. Disclose your debts, disclose your whatevers. That's when you can have more like impactful questions about money. But I think while you're dating and you're preparing for marriage, it's really just observation. What does he spend his money on? What does she spend her money on? What does someone deem as important when it comes to money? Are they frivolous? Are they responsible? Are they stingy? Yeah. Are they, it's more from an observation point of view.
The other one was, what do you do for fun? Expectations. Yeah, I mean, we covered that a bit.
It's true. Oh yeah, and you're right. His beliefs around money management, that is a huge one, because there's some people, and it usually happens that these two people end up together. You always end up with some person who is huge on saving money. They want to save every penny because maybe it's a scarcity mindset, maybe it's trauma from the way they grew up. They want to save every single dollar. Once they get money, they must save it. And then that person will go and marry someone who's an investor, who's got a high risk appetite, who wants to be throwing money into crypto every month, throwing money into this, throwing money into that. That is a huge source of conflict. So yeah.
Do you want to do another question there, or let's see? There's a few other. What do you do for fun?
Yeah, that's also another good question. That thing of what you do for fun can tell you a lot about a person. Hey, like I'm saying, these are very simple questions, right? But as time goes on, you also see how people answer these questions. Do they match up to it? So if I say to you, "Oh, I like to run for fun,"
It's like,
saying things to impress you, "Oh, I like to run. I'm really
it's like, all right, let's
sporty. I'm
go.
really this."
Let's go for a run. All right.
And then in time, I do like jog for half a minute, and you see me fighting for my life, and you don't match up to things like that. That's how you can then observe. Okay, is this person really representing themselves well? Fun looks different for other people. For others can be going to Pottery Barn. You're doing mini golf. Some people find that very boring. Other people, it's drinking, it's partying, it's going out having fun. Is that your kind of fun? Does it align? All those questions will make it seem like an inquisition. I hear you, but let's not ask them all at the same time.
Yeah,
all on the
and
same
not
day.
not fair.
Maybe not like a marathon 3-hour
You
question
come through
session.
with your interview guide and you are one by one.
Yeah. No, maybe not. So
As
maybe
you
don't
go.
come on too strong, but like bit by bit, as time goes on, the whole time that you're dating, looking towards getting married. So for some people, they have to date for a year. Some people have to date for 3 years. Some people it's 5 years of like really unpacking some of these questions to see whether it's what they really want.
But I think also in knowing what you want, well, no, in trying to find out what the other person is about, you need to know first of all what you want or what you don't want.
Yeah.
That's why that example you gave of how I was initially, your what? Okay, I don't know what's happening there.
Sorry, my computer's
Yeah,
got pop-ups.
yeah. So it's that kind of thing of knowing exactly what it is that what you're about and what you stand for before you then.
Yeah. You need to know what you want.
This is about.
Okay, so one question from Instagram. What are some not obvious green flags? I feel we don't talk about green flags enough. I think for me, one of the biggest green flags, and it's something so little, but I think it's so important, is someone taking interest in the things that are interesting to you, even though they're not interesting to them. I think it's just so attractive. It's so, because that shows that that's someone who can empathize. I mean, you've got that random knitting hobby that they don't care about, right? They're not into knitting. But when they see like nice wool colors that they think you'd enjoy and they get stuff like that for you, I think it's just such a
considerate,
huge,
thinking about.
yeah, and it's because for me there's a level of selflessness in that, to say they're not interested in that, but they're willing to put that lack of interest aside
Because
to
it's
put your
important to-
interests
yeah,
first.
yeah.
That is such a huge green flag. And you find someone who's like that will be like that in everything. They're generally very selfless, very open. They're open-minded. They don't necessarily have to understand something for them to appreciate that you like it. It's really such a, and usually their empathy levels through the roof.
I think it's
Through the
difficult.
roof.
It's difficult to expect someone to change and become someone that you want them to be if they're already hardwired to be one type of way. You know what I mean? Like there's certain things that will change over time as you're in a relationship, as you get married, and so on. And that's kind of like natural progression of as you develop, as you learn more, and so on. But there's like a core, or like some fundamental things that are very difficult to change. And if you're not willing to accept some of those things about the other person, already you should be like, okay, I can't.
Just let it
Yeah,
go.
and don't think it's going to change over time or whatever. No, some of those things are, like I said, hardwired. It's ingrained in them. So
Yeah.
I like this question.
There's so many good ones. At this point, can we ask about having children? How many etc?
Let me take this one. Yes. No. I think some of these questions. I think you can ask kind of even just in casual conversation. Yeah, I think something like children, there's nothing wrong with that, even if maybe you don't want to have kids or whatever. But at least if you were to ever have kids, it's also how you phrase the question. I guess,
Like, no, maybe don't ask, do you want 5 kids with me now?
with me.
Maybe not that strong. But like, in the future, are kids
It's
on your radar?
hypothetical. Yeah.
Are kids something you're ever gonna want in the future? That one is critical,
Hey, it's
guys.
important.
That one is critical.
That's a make or
Because
break.
sometimes you get people who, you got one person who wants kids, the other one is like, let's see. And then time goes on, and then the person decides, in fact, I actually don't want kids.
Yeah.
I'm actually fine not having children. Meanwhile, the other partner's got a burning desire to still have kids and to still procreate. And the problem with that one is people sometimes compromise what they think they want. So it's important for you, before the next person, be extremely clear about what you want. If you don't want children, you don't want children. If you want children, you want children. Fine, maybe you might change your mind later, but be very clear about it. This one wrecks marriages because you can't compromise on whether you have children or not. You can't have half a kid.
You can't
have a part-time child. You can't put the baby back.
Yeah.
So I think that one early on, because I feel if this person is 100% against having children or can't have children, which is the case sometimes for some people, whereas you have a burning desire to have kids, if you pursue the relationship, which you can, right? Are you willing to give up your dream of having kids? And if you do that, are you sure you won't resent that person?
Yeah.
And vice versa. If you do compromise and do have children, are you sure you won't resent your partner? And then sometimes you get into deep where it's now just heartache, because you just can't compromise on this kid thing. Unfortunately, there's no in between. Either you will have children or you won't. So I think that one, ask it early.
And in some cases, you might choose to adopt, but even with that, that comes with its own challenges.
Are you someone
prepared for that?
And are you someone who wants to adopt?
Yeah.
And is your person someone who wants to adopt?
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. What are some not obvious red flags?
Red flag. That's
not obvious red flags.
I have no idea.
I think a not obvious red flag is someone who doesn't value the people in their life, whether it's family, friends, someone who's just very casual about relationships. Whether, yeah, it could be family, could be friends, they don't care. They're neither here nor there. Whether their family loves them, hates them, yeah, someone who doesn't care what people think. That is, I think that's a red flag. So, to be honest, as Africans, we take it too far. We have an imaginary council of people where we sit and think, oh, what will they think? I think that's unhealthy. That's unhealthy. I'm talking about a normal amount of caring what people think. Like, you should care what your parents think about you. You should care what your siblings think about you. People in your life, your key stakeholders in your life, you should care what they think. Don't care about the opinion of strangers. But if someone doesn't care what their parents think about their actions, or what their siblings and close friends think about their actions, that is a red flag. Reason being, when you guys are not together, you're married, you're whatever, sometimes you need a third party to rein in your person. So obviously, when you're in a relationship like this, it's 50-50, right? It's your word against mine. So sometimes you need a third party to be able to come in and say, hey, that's actually nonsense that you're doing. And sometimes you need the help of someone else to show them the light, to say, hey, that's nonsense. But imagine if your person has got no one in their life whose opinion they hold in high regard. No one. They are low unto themselves. Very difficult. That is a red flag.
Yeah.
That is a red flag. And it's hard. And it doesn't have to be the other extreme where someone can't make a move without a whole council of parents, uncles, aunties, and everyone coming in to make a decision. No. But I'm just saying they should have like a couple of people in their lives where they're like, okay, these people's opinion matters. If I'm moving funny and these people tell me to rein myself in, I will rein myself in because I know them, I love them, I trust them, and I know they want what's best for me. And sometimes I need to swallow my pride and do that. Yeah, you need that. I think everybody needs that person. And sometimes you may not have that person in your life. I think don't be the red flag. Find people in your life who can also then rein you in when necessary. Actually, in church they talked about how everyone should have a referee for certain aspects of their life. So, like your marriage should have a referee, your business should have a referee, your friendships. That person was like, whoop, up, 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 up. Slow down. You're talking crazy. This is rubbish. Let's just.
And you must listen. You need to listen.
And you must. It must be someone who can then be like, okay, I know this person. I trust them with the things that I'm doing, whether it's I trust them with my life, my business, my opinion on this. Within this sector, I hold them in very high regard.
Yeah.
If they say I'm talking rubbish, it means I'm talking rubbish. And you have to believe that. So if you don't have these people in your life, find them. Find them and be open and honest to say, look, I've noticed that when it comes to selling earrings, you're actually that person. From now on, when it comes to selling earrings, please can you look at how I sell my earrings and tell me when I'm going wrong. Cool. Okay, another one from here. How do you guys deal with conflict in marriage?
Okay, so this is not so much on relationship, but more conflict. When you're now
Mm,
married, oh wow, how do you deal with it? Confront it head on. That's at least my approach.
yeah.
No, so there's many ways to kind of do this. Like for us, or at least for me, it's let's let's have the difficult conversations. Let's figure out what it is that we are upset with each other about, or what is the issue. Where is it coming from? Where does it stem from? How can we resolve it? And trying to do that in the most peaceful way possible, or in an amicable way. I find conflict. So conflict, I deal with it like in marriage in the same way, like even at work. Like I prefer to have the difficult conversation so that out of it we must come out better. So it's not just about having the conflict; it's about trying to come out of it um, with a better understanding of the other person, and knowing what their triggers are, what is upsetting for them, or what even your own triggers are, so that you don't do it again. I think the idea is to learn from your mistakes. So the
Yeah.
conflict shouldn't be about trying to prove the other wrong, the other person wrong, or making it seem like they are lesser because maybe they've wronged you, or whatever it is. You shouldn't be fighting to try and outdo the other person. It should be arguing or having a conflict so that you come out of it stronger and better. So that's, I think, where the trick is. That's that little nuance that makes a difference. Because in marriage, when you're now arguing or you're having conflict for the sake of doing that, and you're not trying to build, you're now then moving in different directions. And then it's just a matter of time before that spirals into all kinds of issues. So, yeah.
I would also say a lot of the way that you deal with conflict in marriage very strongly depends on the foundation that you laid at the beginning of your
Right,
marriage or when you're
right.
preparing to be married. So there's certain things that I believe you have to agree on before you even get married to say, okay, in our argument style, when we are going to argue and when we're going to disagree, there should be ground rules on how we're going
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, number one, establish that we're not fighting each other, we're fighting for each
Four.
other. We're trying to find a resolution, and we're both human beings. We see things differently. So in premarital, we would talk about doing personality tests because that's also a huge one. Once you understand your other person's personality, when they start behaving in that way, you're like,
Behaving.
okay, all right, that's what they were talking about. But it's also important for you to be aware of your own personality traits because then you know when you're doing it consciously, you're like, okay, I need to do better. So we said personalities, ground rules. One of the other ground rules that you need to have is sometimes the way you disagree can determine how big or small your fight is going to be.
Yeah.
So if you're raising voices, you're dramatic, breaking plates, storming out of the house, packing your little suitcase. Sometimes things like this are just like adding paper to a fire. You're just like escalating things beyond what they need to be. Establish ground rules to say, okay, when we have a disagreement, nobody's leaving. Nobody. There's none walking out. We can agree to take a break to say, okay, we're going to park this issue. Let's circle back. But nobody's leaving. Nobody's raising voices. I think this one is a very important one. No one is raising voices. No one is shouting. No one is being dramatic. Let's agree to be mature in the way we disagree. And then I think also just learning the ability to put a pin in an issue to come back to it later. So that doesn't mean you're avoiding the topic. But sometimes you find you go back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, and you realize, we're going round and round in circles. Let's take a breather. Let's take a break. Let's put a pin in this and unpack it at a later stage. I think that happened to us. I think like mid last year, we had a huge disagreement, and this disagreement like rolled over into like it was like a couple of days of like we're not seeing eye to eye. We're just very unhappy. He's seeing things one way, he's hurt, I'm hurt, I'm just like it's just not working. And we kind of agreed, okay, let's talk about it a little bit, but this is not the right time. Neither of us is in the right frame of mind to
To
discuss
actually,
this
yeah,
and put our feelings aside to really unpack this issue the way we should. So let's park it, let's pause, let's agree to keep moving. We're not forgetting this issue, but when the time is right, we need to revisit this issue and we need to find a resolution. But in the meantime, we can't be ignoring each other. We can't be storming around the house, or just like stonewalling, giving each other snarky answers. No, let's agree to say, okay, we're going to move on, but we need to circle back. And I think it was like a month later. Was it a month or two later?
It wasn't that much longer.
Yeah, it was like a month later where we happened to go to a couples camp and we did this thing called a kneecap.
Oh, that's what you're talking
Yes,
about.
that's right.
I was thinking about something else.
Yeah. Which one? Anyway,
What?
where you then sit across from each other, and at that time we felt this is a safe space, and okay, now our emotions aren't through the roof. Some time has passed. His feelings have healed. I've also healed. Let's unpack why that fight happened the way it happened and how we can avoid doing it later. So it takes skill, it takes practice. Sometimes you need that. The I don't know, that fourth thing is sometimes you actually just need a third party. Sometimes you really just need another party to be like, okay, guys, come on, sit down. What's your issue? What's your issue? What is the problem here? Okay, maybe here you're being stupid. Just sit down. You're wrong. And on here, maybe you've got a point. Maybe let's look into that. And that can look different for different people. Others is marriage counseling. Others is like trusted friends, or couples. So we also encourage like being around other couples who have the same beliefs, same value system as you, for you guys to be able to sit down and be vulnerable to say, hey, look, there's a time when Chomps did this and actually it made me feel this way. And then sometimes having other people who you trust, maybe another couple, another two couples weighing in on your situation from different perspectives, that has also helped us a lot.
What's so interesting about that is that you also then maybe also hear that you're like, oh, okay, maybe my issues aren't that bad. But at the same time, you also find as someone is maybe sharing their experience, it makes you maybe appreciate your partner a bit more. And you then maybe get a different perspective on maybe where you might have gone wrong. And at the same time, you talking through your issues is then also maybe counseling that couple. So it's a lot of good exchange, healthy exchange.
And it's light conversation, but you'll learn a lot in those conversations. And also sometimes, and I find this happens a lot to women. Sometimes as a woman, you can say something 10 times, right? But when a guy hears it from someone else, it's like, oh, that's a great idea. And you're like,
a moment.
Hello, I've been saying this, but sometimes
just
need another voice. And it helps a lot. At
someone
which
here,
point
you're from Kyrgyzstan. I'm actually googling how to say it. No, you see, it says here Kyrgyzstan. That's the British pronunciation. American says Kyrgyzstan. No,
anyway, hi, welcome.
So we've got Kyrgyzstan, we've got Afghanistan.
We're international, y'all. Anyway, at which point can we ask about health matters and statuses? I think the moment you are considering getting serious with someone, this should be obvious, but the moment before you jump into bed with someone, not that I'm not saying that you should do that, because obviously the goal is waiting until marriage. But if you're going to do that, before you even consider it, do that. But once you decide you're getting married or you want this person, you're looking at a long-term thing, that's what you do. So what we also recommend is when you guys are going through premarital counseling, go and get tested together for HIV together, see your results together. Whatever those results are, you discuss them, be aware of that. And then in terms of health issues, I think that's another very important thing to disclose once you know you want to get married to someone. All your chronic conditions, everything
in your family and
everything in your in your family. If you know there's a history of diabetes, that's something for your person to know, even if you don't actually have it. It's for them to now look out for your health based on what they know about your family history and vice versa. So if you're on any medication, disclose those things, whether it's whatever the case, anything health related. Once you feel you're getting serious in your relationship and you're now looking into merging your lives, that's that point. OMG, the raising of voices, fights and storming out, and physical and verbal abuse. Oh, that's a big one. Reminds me of 90 Day Fiance couple. It's true. It's true. Actually, 90 Day Fiance is that actually makes no sense.
Now, those reality shows.
But I know there's like one or two who find love, but for the most part, it's so dramatic. So I think, but lay those ground rules early to say we don't do this rubbish. Like I know women sometimes want to do that dramatic thing of, oh, I'm going back to my house. That is nonsense. We don't ever play about divorce or breaking up. It's never a threat that we're using to make your partner fall in line. That's nonsense. Have those ground rules. Don't raise your voice. Like for me, once the volume goes up, I shut down completely. I don't know whether you want to call it a trauma response or whatever. Like I shut down completely. So if you want to have a conversation with me, you really have to just find a way and learn and practice expressing yourself. Because I think that's the other big issue. Usually people who like shout, break things, it's actually just a failure to express themselves. So, yeah. Okay. What is something you would have done differently in your dating life looking back?
I wouldn't have gone in with so many or making myself so vulnerable so early on. I don't know. When we're dating, what would I have done differently?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
I wish I hadn't wasted time on games. Like mind games. Like, oh, he hasn't texted me first. Yeah. Or like waiting really long to say how I feel.
But maybe you wanted to be sure.
Yeah, there's only to be sure, but like I feel I wasted a lot of time because I didn't want to just be honest about how I felt.
Yeah, but remember also if you are coming from past hurt or if you
But
have
it's not just about past hurt.
reservations or you want to just make sure.
It's also about intentions. To be honest, I almost broke up with this guy. I'd broken up with him. I had ended our relationship. I told him that I'm done. That's enough.
And then we got engaged. I was leading
no,
up
but
to
but hear me out.
proposing.
Here's why I'm saying my why I wish I hadn't, because it was so horrible. Because I broke up with him because I was like, this guy's wasting my time. He's wasting my time. We've been dating for 3 years. There's not even a hint of a conversation about getting married. He's not serious. He's wasting my time. So I broke up with him. And then absolutely
okay, no, you didn't break up with me.
No. So I broke up with him in a chicken way. I was like, oh, let's just take time. Let's just give each other some space. Let's just not talk. Let's not do anything. Right. And then the next day, I woke up in the morning. It was a Sunday. Who breaks up with someone on a Sunday? In my mind, I'd broken up with you.
Yeah, in your mind.
Like I hadn't said the words. I hadn't said the words that this relationship is over. Yeah. But in my mind and in my heart, I'd broken up with you. I was like, this guy's wasting my time. And then I woke up the next morning and my chest was so heavy, like the heartache I went through. But I was still so angry because I'm like, this guy is wasting my time. He's wasting my time. And if he's not serious, because I want to get married, and if he's not serious, let's move on. Let's cut it off. So eventually I spoke to a friend of mine who's like, you idiot, he's going to propose, but now you've ruined it. But then I went through all this heartache of, okay, fine, he's actually going to propose. So he is actually thinking about marriage. And then, yeah, like I think like a month or two later or whatever, he proposed. But all of that heartache would have been saved if I just said to him, you know what? I think I'm actually serious about this relationship, and I want to know.
Self-imposed heartache.
It is.
Roseby,
that was 100% self-imposed. Because if I just sat down and said, look, because people always tell you, as a woman, don't talk to a guy about marriage. Don't talk to him about marriage. You're going to scare him off. I think talking to someone about marriage scares them off. Rightfully so. That person should go. But if I'd actually sat down and said, look, I want to get married. Is being married on the cards for you? Is that something that you want? Is it something that you're looking towards? And do you see that future with me? Or do you see it with somebody else? Because there's some people.
Someone says, yes, I want to get married.
You'll date for 10 years, then they'll date someone else and marry them for 6 months because that's the person they want to marry. So had I just sat down and said, look, this is a tough conversation. It's awkward. Let's just... Am I the one? Am I the one for you? If I'm not, please stop wasting my time. And if I am, okay, cool. What does that look like? Is this in a year? Is it in 5 years? And I wish I just not been so shy and
or to have
so.
the conversation.
Yeah, I wish
The
I
thing
had the
is,
courage
the
to
thing
do
is, the
it.
thing is, we had had the conversation about getting married, and I kind of said yes, but obviously, as a guy, you you don't say much more than that. And in my case, I didn't say much more because I was planning something, right? But now, obviously, for her, she's assuming, is this thing gonna happen? And all this emotion that you're talking about,
Mm,
that's what you went through.
mm.
So behind the scenes, there I was planning this nice proposal. I had shared up a WhatsApp group with some of her friends and sisters. I was setting up, okay, do you think she'll like this? It was I was trying to be Mr. Romantic.
But you
Meanwhile,
weren't
someone is
communicating.
I can't be telling you that I'm
No,
planning
but you
on
weren't
surprising you for
communicating. No,
that.
no.
That I want to get married. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, sure.
yes, that was your mistake. You should
So
have communicated better.
no,
Mm.
here we go.
No, you communicated better.
Anyway, I was trying to plan this nice surprise engagement, no surprise proposal, and anyway, so it worked out in the end.
In
The
the end, but like,
proposal came
guys,
out
that
nicely, but
heartache
yeah,
was
we should have
awful.
had. Yeah,
It was
obviously,
so
what I would have
unnecessary.
needed to do is maybe make it more clear that okay, you know what, that I definitely want to get married to you. How and when that's going to happen, it's coming soon. So that at least you knew, you would have known that yeah, definitely it's going to happen. I think we had discussed it months prior, and I think it was like yes, 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 but maybe it didn't seem serious. It was just like a passing conversation. Anyway, good. So that happened. So that's a relationship that answers that question.
Yeah, I wish I'd done that.
There's something here. I think for some people, the hiding of information like health matters is a trauma response from past relationships. I've seen this happen before. Yeah, that's what happens.
It's horrible. So you need to be careful. You need to be careful, but a point where it is non-negotiable to disclose is once you're going through premarital counseling. I think that's like one of the first or well, yeah, it's one of the like first or second things we do when you take you through premarital. We'll sit you down and say, okay, have you had an HIV test? Have you guys sat down and disclosed your like there's certain things that you have to disclose.
Very yeah,
Your debt,
honest
your
person.
health matters. If someone at the stage of premarital counseling leaves you because of your status, that person is not the person for you.
Yeah.
Because if they feel that strongly about them, you are safer with them being out of your life. So sometimes it looks like, but if I just kept quiet, would have been married by now. But yeesh, at what cost? At what cost? You would have suffered. But yeah, I think premarital is non-negotiable.
While dating, if a guy asks you, who do you think will get married first?
Ah, that's not no, no. Let it go. You're in a relationship
Oh my
by
word.
yourself. You
Yeah,
are
no, you
by
gotta
your.
run.
Let it go,
Run.
and don't ever be the person who's like, "I'll make him change his mind." If there are any Mrs. Fix-Its out there, as a former Mrs. Fix-It, let me testify: you cannot change a man. You can't change a woman either. You can't. If a person is with it, I was there. I was the vice. I was Bob the Builder. I was the one. I was the one. Give me your trauma. It's okay. I'm gonna fix you. Oh, you don't want a relationship? It's fine. I'll make you change your mind. No, 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 no. People must be clear. If you want a relationship, say it. I want a relationship.
Yeah.
If you don't want a relationship, it's okay. Say I don't want a relationship.
I
But
think-
don't be the one who's like, I'll make them change their mind.
It should be easier for people to be more blunt and candid nowadays. And we're living in a very interesting time in society, and people just kind of say what is on their minds.
Yeah,
So
times have changed.
it's different from before, where it was kind of the courting had more finesse, and there's a lot more to it. Nowadays, people are just quite blunt. It's good and bad, but yeah, that's kind of where we are, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's true.
Bob
Bob is the
Bob is the
builder.
builder.
Yeah, that was me. I'm telling you, if I could have gotten a uniform, I'd have gotten a uniform. Mrs. Fix It, that was me. Don't be like me. Don't be a clown. I wish you had that clown. You like clown. I was a clown.
Question from Chipopoxy.
Do your babies sleep through the night in their own beds? How do you, or did you deal with the terrible two tantrums? Do you both believe in spanking?
Yes, and yes.
Yes, yeah, actually, yes to everything. Yes, our babies sleep through the night. We had to sleep train.
Yeah.
So it didn't just happen. Some people have those amazing babies that just sleep through the night. Ours are not those. We had to sleep train them. I think I even did a video on how I sleep trained my son somewhere on this channel.
So now
in
they
their
sleep in
own
their own
beds.
beds. Yeah, I
Yes,
think when we were still in Chimamani,
they slept in cribs
in the
though.
cribs. Yeah.
Like we never had babies sleeping in our bed unless they were sick or something. But
But yeah, it'd be rare. I think the only time Mali slept in our bed was, I think, after he had his
I think he had his 18-month injection
and
and
his
he was going
his
through
leg
it.
was swollen. It was
His legs was
just
bad.
going through the most.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it
that's the only
wasn't a
time.
regular thing. These things you have to train them, eh? I mean, like I was saying, some people have babies where it's like, oh, they just, yeah, no. Ours will not just. We have to actually be intentional. Terrible two tantrums are awful. So Aya's going through the terrible twos and it just makes me want to pull my hair out. But now that I've had another kid, I know that it passes. So Mali I feel like he had his terrible twos for 2 years. And then it turned like 4, and I was like, am I seeing hope on the horizon? Are you gonna be normal?
He's so well behaved now.
So now we're still here and there, but he's becoming normal. So just hold on to the fact that it will pass.
Yeah.
Do you both believe in spanking? Yes.
But we don't.
But we don't spank often.
We haven't done it in a while. I think also sometimes, and kids are so
It
different.
depends on the kid.
That like sometimes it then ceases to be an effective.
Yeah, like I think.
And then you're not just doing it, and then you're actually creating more resentment out of the child, and I think, yeah.
Look, we'll spank for like this is serious. So like, I can't remember what Mali did that he did something to physically harm Ayanda. I think something like he threw something at her head, like things that are like, okay, this is non-negotiable. Like stuff like that will spank for. But for the most part, I've realized sometimes these kids also get to a point where they're like, yeah, okay, then it's pain, then it passes. Now what?
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do to me, kind of thing.
And the thing is, like the spanking of it, like, then now that varies because some people they talk about spanking, but okay, what are you actually doing?
What are you spanking
So
them with?
what are you spanking with?
I think it's a slippery
so you
slope.
need to, and some people, because you can't control your own anger, if you let it out on a child, that's wrong. So
Completely.
I think just quickly on spanking, like you shouldn't be doing it when you are still worked up or still angry. You need to calm down, or the one who's more calm needs to, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think they and people just go on about, yes, spare the rod, spoil the child. No, you got to. But I think because of how maybe some of us grew up and all of that, it just happened, and maybe there was no lesson behind it and stuff like that. I remember a friend of mine telling, this was way before we got married and stuff, and they got married years back, and he was talking about how he disciplines his child and how he would talk his child through why he's getting a spank. And I think there was a one time he was actually on his way home, and his wife called and said, no, the kid's been naughty, did this or whatever. And so he's like, no, he spoke to the kid on the phone. He says, no, you know what, when I come home, you're going to get a spanking. So already him being worked up had happened long before. So it was like getting home, you're calm already, but okay, we're going to go into the room, going to give you a spank, and afterwards I'm going to explain why that happened. And so there's more to it than just beating the child, because then
but it's hard. So my issue with spanking is, how do I know when I'm spanking for discipline and spanking to let out my anger? Which is why I try to make it a very, very, very last resort for me, because I know I may blur that line a bit. But I think I've spanked my kids enough for them to know that, hey, when mommy says chaya, it's gonna be so. It's not something I want. So I've spanked them enough for them to be like, yeah, we don't want that. But I don't spank them often. And some kids just don't respond well to spanking. It's just not in them. They just don't really. Yeah. Like one of my nephews, I think he's been spanked once his entire life, because speaking to him is the most effective.
Who's it? You mean a friend?
Anyway, one of my nephews. Like they speak to him and it works like a charm. He self-corrects very easily. He's a different kid. My kid is not like that. My kids, sometimes we need it, but you try not to make a habit of it.
Okay, Real Love says, almost missed you guys. Kelly looking gorgeous and Chunks looking handsome too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Simply Lorna, I'm late for the live session, but do you still have your annual meetings, check-ins?
Yes.
Like our
our
AGMs.
AGMs,
Yeah, we do.
absolutely, absolutely.
We
We
do.
actually, for
Very
good
important.
measure, do a half year. I think we did a half year
Review.
like 2 weeks ago or something like that.
That's good.
Those things are very,
Very
very,
important.
very important.
Very effective as well.
I think of all the years we've been married, we only missed 1 year. I think it was 2022. 2022 was just a chaotic year for us.
Before we moved, yeah,
Yeah,
2022 or
2022 was
23.
wild. And that year was awful. I'm not saying it's because we didn't do it, but it was an awful year.
But we needed it.
But yeah, we do it religiously. I think this year we did it in January, which is a little bit late, but usually we do it November, December. It's a game changer. Huge, huge, huge
I
game
like this
changer.
question. Yeah, when it comes to a dude with potential and a woman helping him, where do you draw the line? This is interesting. Have you watched the movie Acrimony?
Oh, we're gonna go into that debate.
No. But yeah,
You know what?
Okay,
I'm gonna say the
what's your take?
thing. I'm gonna say the thing that you shouldn't say. And look, maybe it's my Bob the Builder ness in me, Mrs. Bob the Builder.
Bob the Builder. Bob is the builderess.
The builderess. But I think potential is very, very important. More important than what they're doing currently.
Yeah.
Because I need to be able to see, do you have the vision? Do you have the potential to do whatever it takes for you to succeed at doing what you're doing? But
it can't be to the detriment of your
if it's becoming a full-time thing, and I think if the potential is there, honestly, if you've got right, when it comes to potential, look at the qualities and the principles. Is this person hardworking? Are they humble? Are they innovative? Are they, are they someone who communicate well? Are they someone who network well? That's the kind of potential I'm talking about. Like this person, if I were to plonk them in Kyrgyzstan, what's that? Kyrgyzstan. Like, could they make a living? Like, could they make a plan? Like, so for me, that's the kind of thing that I look at. Like, I don't want a person who has money, right? Like, I've met you, you've got so much money, and then that money disappears. Now we're both looking at each other like this. No.
Or in the case like what you're saying, where now you in this, if I'm getting the question right, I have all these dreams and ambition and whatever, but you're the one who's got the money. So now your money is funding my dreams and my hustle and my this and that. So
do you believe in the vision? Because there's a lot of women who have supported guys with visions, and when that vision came to light and it just things took off. But there are also people who have wasted a lot of time and money on people's vision, where deep down
there's nothing coming
here, but but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm going to say the thing that you're not supposed to say. I believed in Chonks's potential. So even when he was unemployed, when he was hustling, when he was and money was doing this and doing that, there are times where I'd also like pitch in, I'd also cover gaps, but it's because I could see the potential in this guy. Like this guy, it's not an issue of pride. And if this particular thing that he's working on doesn't work, he will fold it and move on to something else that does. He won't sit and be like, my battery, like the guy from Matrimony. No, just sit around and be like, it has to be this one thing. And if it's not this one thing, it must be nothing. I was like, okay, this guy's got the, he'll make a plan. He'll make a plan, come what may. So I could support that vision because I believed in him.
And I think being humble is important. Like you're saying, if I was ready to get work anyway. If you said I have to go and
someone is genuinely trying,
sell
and you can
airtime,
see.
I would genuinely do that.
Like
I think the thing is also a red flag would be, when someone is hustling and for them it's, they make statements like, when I get money, I'm going to, you know what I mean? Already you can tell that the attitude towards money always, then they might be willing to compromise their values to get that money. You know what I mean? So now it means when that person gets that money, it means it's either I'm going to leave you because I don't
I don't need you.
Thanks for helping me. But it means my focus isn't on bettering myself or building something, whatever. It's about deal day. It's about making that X amount of money and
then things
I'm going to be flashy and everything.
Yeah,
so
because that's short-term thinking.
Yeah,
but someone who's got long-term thinking who says, you know what, if I get this particular deal, I'll be able to invest in this machine that'll be able to do this. That is vision. Not when I get this particular deal, you and I are going to go and we're going to have dinner and we're going to eat it, then we're going to fly. And that's lack of vision. But I think it depends on the principles of the person. Like, I think one thing for me where I was like, okay, I support this guy's vision. I know for Chonks, God forbid, if anything happened to his job today, if Chonks heard that there are people digging sewer lines outside and it pays money, Chonks would be out there digging.
Yeah.
Because I know he's that kind of a guy where it's like it doesn't matter, no matter what, he doesn't give up. That is an amazing quality. So that I would believe in. But if your person, and now it seems like I'm against rappers, but if your person is waiting for their next mixtape to pop, when you know in Zimbabwe maybe artists aren't paid as much and you're seeing hey, our vision here is not quite it's difficult.
Hey, mixtape.
You'll be that's how you fall into being
Mixtape.com.
Mrs. Builder. That's how you'll be selling CDs on the side of the road for your love, for your bay, with all your heart. But really you guys are not paying anyway. Yeah. So where do you draw the line? You draw the line where you are not seeing or understanding the direction in which you're going. So sometimes you don't have to know 100% of the plan. So you don't have to understand exactly how this engineering business is going to take off. You don't have to know the exact details, but you can see, okay, the vision, the focus, and all things considered.
There's something that could.
There's something
could
there. I think this is going to work. That's when you support. Papa.
I was just thinking. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah. I'm glad it's comforting. The toddler phase is the worst. And actually, I watched a TikTok the other day that was saying, if you feel like you don't like motherhood, maybe you're just not enjoying the stage that you're in. So I'm not a baby mom. I'm not like for my kids. I'm not like a baby. Oh, a breastfeeding. Oh, a toddler mom. I don't enjoy it. It's so much. And I know this now because Mali's getting older. He's turning 5. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's such a cool guy. Like, I want to spend time with you now because I can talk to you. But some people are amazing baby moms. Some people are amazing teenager moms. Some people are amazing preteen moms. I don't know. Sometimes it's just the season.
That's an interesting one.
What's your take on women helping men pay ilobolo? It's becoming common now. See, so that one I draw the line. Even Mrs. Bob the Builder is like.
You don't want to help me finish paying for you?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Actually, no, your job is fine.
There are some things that I believe are solely the man's responsibility. Solely his responsibility. I will not, and you must not help a guy raise money for Rora. How you can help him is go to your family and tell them, guys, let's not do nonsense. I know my person. I love him. I know genuinely he can only show up with 2K. So this 15,000 that you guys are trying to charge, absolutely not. This is my person. Don't do it.
Yeah,
that's how you help him. Because you know your family, you know his pocket. When you hear people talking crazy of we want 6 bottles of Glen 24. Guys, this is my person. That's where you work. That's where you're fighting him to say, guys, this is rubbish. This grocery list, why do you need 20 cases of Mazoe? This is nonsense. No, to the best of your ability, that's what you're trying to do. Yeah. But otherwise,
the money
finding the money,
he must put it together.
He must find
it. Also shows a level of seriousness,
determination. Yeah. What is that guy willing to do?
Yeah.
And even if it's going to take him 2.5 years to raise that money. That guy sat down and said, babe, look, it's going to take me 2.5 years to raise X amount of money. I'm doing it. I'm in this. There's no amount of time that is too long for me to wait for you. In this 2.5 years, if you can be patient with me diligently, I'm going to put aside this money and I'm going to marry you. It's now your choice whether you want to stick around for 2.5 years or not. But don't ever help a guy with money for order. And what happens sometimes is, maybe your guy's not doing so well. Maybe he's hustling. Things are coming together slowly. You've got lots of cash. The cash is like, hey, that doesn't mean you must. No.
Let him still pull his own.
Your focus must be, okay, while my person is fighting to pay money for Rora because it's up to him whether that day happens. My focus is on, okay, after the Rora happens, we're going to need to move into a house. We're going to need deposit for a flat or whatever the case. We're going to need plates. We're going to need cups. We're going to need this. We're going to need that. After, your focus as a woman must be on after that day. What is our life going to look like? What's our kickstart? What is our starter pack? That is where your money is going. His money must go to Rola. That's his problem. He must deal with that one.
Simply Daddy, I missed you guys. Good to have you back. Yeah,
how do you balance date nights and young kids? Oh, you just have to try. And to be honest, I won't even lie to you, having full-time help.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the only way. Having full-time help. I know obviously it's not an option for everybody, but where you can use the people around you, do that. Last weekend we sent the kids off to his parents' house for the whole of half term,
So
and it
three
was
nights, 3 nights.
fantastic.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. And I mean, grandparents, bless them. They took the kids, and they know when you send your kids over, we don't phone, we don't check, we don't text you. Our policy is if something is wrong, you look for us.
Yeah.
But in that time, we do not have children. It's just the two of us. So try and do that. And then in terms of like other date nights, shorter term, I think just find an opportunity where you can. Sometimes it's not realistic to say, okay, every Thursday or every second Thursday or every second Sunday, I'm going to do this. Sometimes you just have to be flexible. Life happens, kids get sick, things come up where you can just be able to raise the flag to say, hi, my person, I feel like I haven't seen you in a bit. Can we take time maybe this weekend to go
Let's
for
carve out
coffee?
time. Yeah.
Be realistic about what that date looks like for you. I know one of my cousins said that her and her husband, they lived overseas, so didn't have full time help. So for date nights, they'll let the kids watch a movie on TV, and then they'll go to the veranda and like grill steaks and like have their little moment there. Do what you can, be creative, but be intentional.
Gibson Chari. How easy is it to say pardon me? I'm not sure maybe I understand.
Yeah,
the question.
I don't
Gibson,
quite get
please
on.
clarify that question.
Um,
Okay, let's go
Some
to
guys will
Rose
say,
here.
let's live together. Then I say for lower and wedding, my dear. Is
Even
that
I
a red
think
flag? That is a red flag.
now let's live together already. Those are the kind of things you want to also try
That's
and
a red
avoid.
flag because what will motivate him to pay Rhoda?
Yeah, because you've now created the environment that you want to have, or that
When
you're
you're
meant to have as a
married,
married couple before you're married.
you
You're
won't buy the
now,
cow if he's
yeah,
getting the milk for free. That is a red flag. If he wants to stay for Rhoda, he must move out of that expensive flat that he's renting and go back to his parents' house
and put that
and
money that
live
he
there
was, yeah.
and save
You
that
gotta
rent
you gotta
money.
make those sacrifices.
I think that's a red flag. Um, Asking for
Asking
a
for a
friend.
friend.
Yeah, let's make it clear. Feel free to ask questions for a friend anytime.
Any friends? There's many friends.
In reference to what Stabile said, what to do if your partner doesn't believe in Rhoda but he has all the green flags? Right. This is a perfect example of what we were talking about. Remember when I said my unconventional green flag, that this guy or your partner supports the things you do even if they don't necessarily believe in them? This is exactly it. If your person loved you, they would say, okay, I don't believe in Rhoda. It's not part of my culture. It's not my thing. But because it's important to you, I will do it.
Yeah.
That is how that green flag works. All the other green flags, fine, but that person must be willing to say, okay, fine, to be honest, I think it's nonsense. Why am I paying money for a wife? Doesn't make sense. But because it's important to you
Your
and it's
family
important to
and
your family,
yeah.
I respect you and your family and you guys' beliefs and your traditions. Um, I'm going to do it. So I think if they're refusing to do it altogether, I believe that's a red flag. Because I think if someone can be so stubborn and unflinching on something that's so important to you,
But
if it
more
is
later.
important to you, maybe it's not. But if it's important to you and they're so hard and unflinching, that is now a red flag. Unfortunately, even if they have 100 green flags, that's a big red flag. Hey, I don't know if it's you want to risk ignoring that one for all the other green ones.
Any other questions there?
Hi Tafadzwa. Lots of love for all the way from Zimbabwe. All the way from Zimbabwe. Yeah, okay, so I've got a question here from Instagram. Planning to get married 2025. We don't have much, but enough to start us off. Any advice? Oh my gosh.
Planning to get
I
married in
love that.
2025. We don't have much to.
But
You
enough
know
to
what?
start us off.
First thing, premarital counseling. What up?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that's important.
100% do
But it's good that
premarital
they-
counseling.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely beautiful. Congratulations. Congratulations. In terms of not having much to start you off and things like that, my first piece of advice would be don't have pressure. Don't have pressure. Do not even have pressure. One of the very most important skills you and your person are going to have to learn is how to stay in your lane. Face your front. Stay in your lane, especially your financial lane. Stay in your lane. Don't feel pressure from other people. And from the beginning, always tell each other, you and I are enough. You and I are enough. It doesn't matter if we're living under a bridge. It doesn't matter if we're walking. It doesn't matter what we're doing. You and I are enough, and we'll make the best of every situation. Johnson and I have been so broke. We were making our rice and chunks and we made it feel gourmet. Yet, like, because you and I are enough. When we didn't have a car and we were walking to and from work, we just said to each other, you and I are enough. And in this moment, we're going to be happy and we can still find love wherever we are. So, I mean, Chunks used to walk to work and I used to walk to the bus stop and then catch a combi to work. And this is not even far away. This was last year. I'm not even talking like this was like back in the day. Because we've agreed wherever we are,
we'll make it.
We're gonna make it work. Yeah. So in the morning we'd get up, would both walk to the bus stop. He'd wait for me to get on the combi, then he would walk to work. And then in the evening he would walk back there and wait for me at the bus stop. And then I'd get off the combi and then we'd walk home together. And that was our time. That's how we found our dates. That's what we could afford. That's what was practical. But it was so beautiful.
It worked, yeah.
Because we were working with what we had. Honestly, sometimes I even say to him, like, I miss that. Like, because it was 40 minutes of us just walking and talking twice a day. It was beautiful. But teach each other and agree with each other that it doesn't matter. You and I, when it's you and me, that's enough. We don't need any sauce. We don't need any extras. You and I are enough. So when it comes to your wedding, don't kill yourselves over people who are going to eat and complain about the food anyway. Don't go into debt for your wedding. Don't do major things because you don't have one chance to have a wedding. So we didn't have a big wedding. We had
small at the house.
We had something small at his parents' house. It was beautiful with what we had. One day, maybe, who knows, we might then have a splash with the white gown and everything. It's not our season right now. But be aware of your seasons financially, career wise, be aware of your seasons, acknowledge it, and realize that, that time will pass. But congratulations. I hope you're doing premarital counseling because that is one of the major factors that I think contributed to us having the relationship we have now. That foundation that we laid in all the preparation for marriage and then doing a premarital counseling, that stuff just sets you on a foundation that'll be unshakable. But yeah, start doing premarital counseling now. It's not too early. Take your time and it'll be worth it.
Where we? Should same-sex marriage be legalized in Zim? I don't want to go into detail. My answer would be no. It shouldn't be legalized in Zim. I don't think I'm gonna try.
It's difficult because the legal system is the legal system. If you want to know our opinion on it, our opinion is that no, it shouldn't be legalized. Should our opinion become the law? That's another question. But it's it's a very complicated answer, very, very sensitive topic. But I don't know. I don't know how to say it.
It's a tough one too.
I don't know, like whether it becomes legal or not. No, I know what I believe and what our beliefs are, but should that become the law? I don't know.
Chipoxy, or someone was answering Chipoxy.
Oh, it's a matter of money and it's a sensitive subject. Not sure if just expecting someone to go against their beliefs is that simple. No, it's not that simple. It's really never that simple. But it's tricky. It's tricky.
So there's a few. All right. Okay. Simply Lorna says, "What books are you currently reading?" It's number one. Is it important? Is it important to me for a woman to have money saved up to show she is ready for marriage? Should a woman
showing up empty-handed be a red flag?
Okay, let me start first. Okay, what books am I currently reading? The Bible, number one. Number two, there's a book called Leaders Eat Last, which I started like 3 years ago, and I'm just reading it so slowly. I'm terrible, but it's a very good book. My sister bought it for me. I think those are the two. You?
Oh yeah, Bible and this book by Patina Gapa with the short stories. Now the title has escaped me, but it's a collection of short stories.
Simon Sinek is the one who wrote the book I'm reading.
Trying to figure out. Is it important for a woman to have money when she's saved up to show that she's ready for marriage? To be honest, I think this can go for either a woman or a man. I don't think it's a red flag for someone to not have money. It's a red flag for someone to be reckless with money. So the little bit of money they do get, they're not spending it well. That is a red flag. I believe people go through different seasons. I think as a couple, if you both show up with nothing, that's a beautiful thing because everything you're doing, you're building together.
Yeah.
So I think that was our case. Yeah, like I think I was working. No, was I even working? No, I wasn't working full time. Yeah, basically we both showed up with nothing. He managed to just save Rhoda, and then it was like, whoo, then we had nothing. But I think it's not a red flag. But if someone is bad with money, that is a red flag.
Cleo says, sorry I'm late. I'm new to relationships. Where do you find men?
Uh-huh. Well, I wouldn't know anymore, but I think the kind of person you are looking for should be someone who is aligned with your interests.
Yeah.
So my question to you would be, what are your interests? What are you into? What kind of a man are you looking for? What would his interests be? I'd say once you're clear on what you want, it's easier to narrow down
Yeah.
what you don't
And you
want,
go to places where those people
and you go
are
to
looking
places
for.
where those
Yeah,
people are.
don't
So
go to places
if you
where-
want a church man,
go to church.
if you want someone who's well read, go to libraries, go to talks, networking events.
If
If
you
you
want
want
a
a
sporty
corporate
man, go
man,
to the sporting places, like
yeah,
the gym or the sports field.
yeah. So it depends on the kind of person you're looking for.
Tafadzo says, I've been following you guys in Manikaland, what, you guys, Modadana. Keep it up. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you very much for and just thank you so much to all of our day ones,
Those
our people
who've
who've
seen us from
been with
yeah,
us from way back
back.
when. Just out of curiosity, do you guys watch Closure DNA show? If so, what's your take on the interviewing on the presenter's interviewing style, specifically on his pestering questions on water and is sex that important? I haven't watched a full episode. I've seen clips, like those clips that'll go viral. This
Is this
Tinashe
that one? Yeah,
Yeah.
pestering questions. Yeah, man, I find he's
His
a bit
questions can be
not
very
crass,
rude.
man, but
To
he's
be honest,
very.
I feel that guy's quite sexist.
I think I watched one or two
The
clips.
misogyny can be a little
Yeah.
thick with that guy. And I don't like his interviewing style because he interviews having judged already. He's not interviewing to get down to the truth. He's interviewing to prove his point about the judgment he's made. I find in a lot of the thing. And okay, to answer your question, is sex that important? Yes, sex is that important. Sex is very, very important, but sex is not everything in a relationship. So if it's on a 1 to 10, right? Let me make it clear. All 10 things are important, but sex will probably make up maybe one or two. So that would be 10 to 20% of the relationship.
Then there's
Right.
all that. That's
That
there's a
10 or
lot.
20% is very important. Just like communication will be another 10%, very important. Small but important. But it is not everything. It's not everything, but it's critical. It's just like I'd liken it to like fuel in a car. Having fuel in the car is not the entire car, but for the car to function, it needs everything in place. It needs the oil, it needs the fuel, it needs the tires, it needs the engine. It's a part of it, a very important part, but it is not everything. Um, Chunks, maybe anyway, you can answer your
How do you
question.
know? How did you know that you wanted to marry Kelly from a male perspective? Like, was it a feeling of choice? I'm asking as I was speaking with someone and we speak about marriage. Oh,
You might as well read.
Yeah, okay, then the next one from Winnie again. And he said it's more for him, it's nothing to do with love, but rather it's a choice.
Interesting.
It has nothing to do with love.
Yeah, like he didn't marry for love, basically. He
Yeah.
married because he felt this person perhaps ticked the
Take
boxes.
the more boxes than, yeah. It's so hard to explain, but like for me, and it sounds cliche, but when you've found the right person, you kind of know. I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it. I think.
Was it an emotional or an intellectual decision? I think that's also
Oh,
what you're
right,
asking.
okay, yeah, more so, yeah, intellectual and emotional, both.
Mm.
I think a bit of both because I think you find, for me, it was like she resonates with a lot of the values that I hold important. And again, through the dating process and starting to talk through certain things, you start to realize, oh no, there's an attraction that then happens. That's maybe first of all intellectual, then becomes emotional. So I think that's how it kind of worked for me. So I think at the time, I then just kind of like stopped entertaining or talking to any of the other girls I was talking to. It was kind of like, okay, I want to know more about this person. I want to just, and it was just a lot of conversation, a lot of just getting to know each other. But it intrigued me. She intrigued me, and it was like, okay, cool. And then from that, I think then the emotion developed and the feelings and all of that. So,
So it was intellectual at first.
yeah,
And then the feelings followed.
I think that's probably.
So if it was intellectual at first, there were boxes that you were ticking in your head.
Yeah,
that then
knowingly and unknowingly, yeah.
Okay.
Because sometimes, again, in knowing what you don't want or in knowing what I didn't want, I was then able to then identify the qualities in her that I then said, yeah, this is it. This is very much in alignment with what I'm looking for. And then the rest of it starts to fall into place the more you get to know each other, I guess. But I think for me, the key thing, I always keep saying it, is knowing yourself is so important. Because then you know, it's more important to know what you don't want, than what you think you want, So for me, it was, I knew the things I didn't want. So I was like, right, cool. You tick this box and that box and that box. And this is exciting. So I hope that answers your question. But
guys, we need to probably wrap up. 9 minutes.
We're gonna do 9 minutes.
9 minutes, and then we're gonna call it. We can talk forever.
We can go all night.
I wish we could do it like a sleepover. Oh my gosh, I'd love that.
A sleepover live.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope that answers your question, though, Winnie.
If a dude doesn't have a relationship with his mom, is that a red flag? I would say it's an orange flag. Look deeper into.
Created a flag in your.
It's a brand new flag. Welcome. Look deeper into why. What is the reason why? Obviously, and you have to do it in such a way that you're not being intrusive. Like, why don't you love your mother? But what is it? It's possible he doesn't have a relationship with her for a very good reason. Yeah. Because mothers can be toxic too. Fathers can be toxic. Parents can be toxic. Unfortunately, parents are not perfect just because they're parents. So why does he not have a relationship with her? What is the status? At what point did the relationship break down? What went wrong? In your opinion, do you feel, if he opens up about it, right, do you feel he's justified? And if he's not justified, do you really want to be the one to fix that relationship when you don't know where it started? You don't know where things went wrong? I'd say dig deeper. So as a fellow Miss Bob the Builder, I'd say dig a little bit deeper and find out the reason. Is there an ideal time to start dating for the youngins? An ideal time. I would say.
Again, this is one of those. If you would go back, would you want to have started dating
maybe
earlier,
university?
Later, university kind of time.
I don't know. You know why? Because people mature differently.
Yeah.
Some people started dating very young. I don't agree with that. Like when you're like in high school. And when I say some people, I mean
Look,
some people.
Oh, you're talking about me? Or you're talking about yourself? Yeah, no.
Some people dated in high school, and I think it was such a terrible waste of time. It was a terrible waste of time, and I regret it. I think if I could I wish I had focused more on school and maybe looked at considering dating like towards the end of varsity as I'm starting to work. When I'm more mature, it needs maturity. That way you don't waste your time as much. There's a lot of time wasted. But people are different. But I'd say we focus too much on wanting to date and don't focus enough on building ourselves.
Yeah. Very good
so
point.
Building ourselves
Good
is
point.
Our careers, just our mental health. Have you been for therapy? Have you unpacked your mind? Do you know why you behave the way you behave?
Yeah.
We need to learn to focus more on ourselves before focusing on adding another person. Okay, Winnie's back. I'm also asking because you know how they say women make decisions based on emotions. And I've realized that I've done that too, and it turned out bad every time. So I'm trying to change the way I handle. when it comes to dating, not to let my emotions lead. I think that's excellent advice because I think sometimes as women, I've also been that person, again, where you just wanted to work so badly, but you're ignoring the cold, hard facts on the ground. So I say, have your head in the stars and dream and want the things that you want, but feet firmly on the ground. You're allowed to dream, you're allowed to have your head in the clouds, you're allowed to get swept up, but ground yourself on the things that are important to you. So, your key values, the key things that you're looking for, that stuff should ground you, but don't be blinkered. And also, those referees that we talked about, remember how I was saying you need to have people in your life. Sometimes your friends can tell you off the bat, but my friend, this person is not for you. But because we're so caught up in emotions and we're so deep in the love bubble, we don't want to listen to that. So I think also consider the opinions of those around you. 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Would you consider marriage an achievement? Yes.
No.
No.
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't consider it an achievement?
No.
That's interesting. Why?
Anyone can get married. You can get married to a stranger.
No, I
A
think
good marriage is an achievement.
Right. So
A
if
good marriage. Look, getting married, I wouldn't call marriage an
right.
achievement. I'd call it a milestone. For anyone, I believe it's a milestone
Really?
because it's a step. But you can marry any stranger off the street
okay,
today.
with that context, yes, but I still think I think marriage is it's a
A
huge
good
achievement.
marriage.
Good, right? So let's
A
clarify.
good marriage is an
It's
achievement.
definitely an achievement.
Not a long marriage,
Yeah.
not quantity, but quality. You're in a good marriage, in a good relationship. I believe that is an achievement.
Not just
because
getting married
it
for the
doesn't
sake
just
of
happen.
right. Okay,
You
cool,
can marry
cool.
a stranger off the
I'll
street
agree with that.
today and be
Yeah.
married. It's a milestone, not an achievement. Thank you. A kingdom marriage. That for me is a massive, massive achievement.
Yeah, well done.
Okay, we're gonna race through these last ones in the next 4 minutes.
Uh,
What can we expect from your upcoming content? To be honest, I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea. I am just, and I'm sorry, it's not an answer anyone wants to hear, but I'm focusing on putting out content to begin with at all. But I can, spoiler alert, it's going to be very marriage related, very relationship related. I'm really, 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 really passionate about it. So I want to just focus on things that I'm passionate about and things that matter to me a lot. So yeah. Okay. So Winnie says it does answer my question. Thanks. Hit the nail on the head. I lead with
You're
what I
most
think I want.
welcome, Winnie.
Awesome, I'm glad. Is there a best time to get married in terms of age? Is there such a thing as too young or too old? No.
Let me go first. For guys, right? For me,
Okay.
yeah, best time to get married. Age for guys, anyway, this is my kind of example, and I know okay, my dad also got married. I think in his early 30s, late 20s, early 30s. Same for me, those early 30s. I think for guys, a lot of guys we're not ready until we've crossed that mark, crossed that point, or late 20s, I feel like early 20s, mid 20s, we're still very, look, I'm not saying that's for
Immature.
everybody.
Your
It's
brains
definitely
haven't
not for everybody. I know
developed.
some people got married at 21, 22. Some of them are still happily married now. It all varies. But just my own humble opinion, I think for guys, you need to take a bit of time and figure yourself out. So that's that kind of introspection and going through all of that. Late 20s, early 30s, I think as a guy, you're now at a good mature point to get married. That's my take.
I think for women, as long as you have legal age and you feel you're ready, I don't think these things have a formula, hey? Like, we can't say, there are things I recommend, like, don't get married before you finish school, before things like that. So, like, at least finish school. So, from the time I think you're 24, 25, you're not mature. But some are. But yeah, there's no formula. There's no formula. People can get married at any age. I've seen people have the most beautiful marriages and get married at 45, 50.
Yeah.
There's no formula. There's really no formula. Don't box yourself in with an age. Box yourself in by saying, I'll get married when I'm ready, whenever that is. Okay. Into this for no sex before marriage. Isn't that like buying a car without test driving it? Does it not leave room for disappointment in the bedroom? Even if you test drive a car, it doesn't mean it can't die on you later. Unfortunately, we believe in no sex before marriage because that is what the Bible says, and there's no benefit to it. So even if, let's say, you've sampled 10 different cars, you found this car is the one for me, That car is constantly going to change physically, emotionally. Things will change. In sex, you go through seasons. You go through seasons of great sex. Go through seasons of not so great sex. And da, 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 da. The key is for you to love your person enough to learn what's working at that time. So different things for different seasons. What you're committing to is not the amazing sex, because you can have amazing sex with that person that you feel is your 10 out of 10, and then next week it could be rubbish. But what's important is, once you have that person that you love, you're determined to say, okay, my friend, we're going to figure this out. Some days we're going to have incredible sex. Other times, yeah, it's going to be okay, but I still love you through it. Sometimes we're going to have challenges. Sometimes we'll have seasons where there'll be no sex in our relationship, and we're still going to be okay. Because remember, sex is one small part, but intimacy is huge. Sex is a small part of intimacy. So when you have a good intimate relationship with your partner, it's not going to matter what they look like, where they're from, blah 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 blah. Okay, guys, we need to wrap up.
Thank you. Just want to say your 32 viewers.
Yay!
Thank you, guys.
Guys, we're gonna wrap up. With the high rate of divorce, yes, you should still do it. I have to, Tavaza, I'm sorry, it still has to be done. You still need to honor people's families and cultures if they believe in that.
See, divorce comes from people not
preparing for marriage.
You have to prepare.
Preparing for marriage. Guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you so much.
We're gonna do this again. We're
gonna do this again. You know, as if you leave us, we will have you here the whole night. But we have to cut it off at some point. But before we go, we just wanted to say, we have gotten a lot of inquiries about premarital counseling. If you do want to inquire about premarital counseling, I'm going to leave, please just type in the email address. I'm going to type in an email address here on the chat box, and then we'll also just include it in the description of this live. If you want to inquire, if you're preparing to get married, or if you are already married but maybe jumped that step but want to look into it, we're going to leave an email address here. Please feel free to inquire, and then we'll take it from there. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much. We've had such a beautiful time. Should we do this more often? Do you guys like this kind of thing? Let us know down below, whether it's on Instagram, wherever. Tell us. But overall, guys, mwah, 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 mwah. Have a beautiful evening and have a beautiful week. We'll see you next time.
Cheers, guys. Bye.